What famous musicians can't play their instruments? It has been noted by historians that Tchaikovsky never fired a cannon for 1812 Overture. Ozzy Osbourne openly complains that guitar manufacturers keep gifting him guitars even though he has never so much as held a guitar in his life. Pete Wentz only learned how to play bass during Fall Out Boy's hiatus. It's not like he was hopeless and didn't know anything, but watching old Fob concerts you can't even hear his bass, like he's unplugged. In the ones where his bass is audible, he's playing a way simpler version than what we hear in the albums. Root notes along with the song. He seems to know what he is doing. At least back then Patrick Stump would write the bass lines and then teach them to Pete. Meatloaf was never really known as a guitar player, but there's an absolutely hilarious quote from his autobiography that I think fits well here. Songs are already long enough. Can you imagine if I could play leads? God help us all. Tim McGraw. I'm loosely acquainted with the guy who buys all his guitars. McGraw will have him make the guitars look worn and used, but the guitar is never actually hooked up to the sound system at his shows. It's just there as a prop basically. Zappa said that he could not sing and play guitar at the same time. But he had Steve Vai in his band. Sid Vicious approached Lemmy for bass lessons saying I can't play bass. Lemmy said I know. It's definitely satire, but if you isolate Julian Casablancas singing and play it into a microphone in the game Rock Band, he will fail his own song almost instantly. None of the members of Arctic Monkeys knew how to play their instruments when they first started. They learned as they went along. The Shags got famous because they couldn't play. Monkeys joke Davey comes out for one number with an acoustic guitar strapped around him. Mickey expresses surprise, and says I didn't know you played guitar. Davey, I didn't even know you had a guitar. Davey says, oh, this isn't my guitar, it's Peter's. Peter's? Mickey replies. Yeah, Davey shoots back. Everybody knows that the Monkeys don't play their own instruments. Morrissey claims he can play guitar, but I have yet to see him play it. You'll see a bunch pretending to play on the CMAs tonight. Luke Bryan is a big one. Holds the guitar, strums twice the whole song. Probably not even mic'd up. Freddie Mercury used to joke that his guitar only knew 2 chords. Like he even needed a guitar. Lay Claypool's dad said you can't sing for shit but you sure can play that bass. Wild Stallions. Vince Neil can't sing outside of a studio. I think there was a small documentary on the Dropkick Murphys where it was revealed that their lead guitar had all of his fingerings marked out on his guitar cause he had no idea how to play. He was found out by a roadie before playing a 3,000-person show. Apparently the roadie gave him shit for it. A true example of faking it till you make it. Edit some context. Casey didn't know how to play an instrument before starting the band. In addition to having zero experience working in a band, Casey didn't even know how to play an instrument before accepting the dare. The frontman, though, did have some involvement in the punk scene, as he used to work at the legendary punk club The Rat booking shows. I just didn't play an instrument, never thought I would, Casey says. Actually, I was working construction and going to UMass Boston and bartending at night. Casey added that he once got heckled by stagehands for taping notes to his instrument during a show at a 6,000-seat venue while opening for the Mighty Mighty Bosstones. That was the beauty of it, Casey says. We were the Bad News Bears, stumbling our way through it. Courtney Love pissed off her sound guy by not paying him, so he sold her live tracks and uploaded them. Pay your audio engineers, people. DJ Khaled. Lil Wayne is not very good in playing the guitar. Sid could not play at all. Tom Araya of Slayer just didn't care about playing bass. He wanted to focus on the lyrics and let Kerry King record the bass parts for most of the albums. Gene Simmons can play his bass, but he is not a good blues player and I believe he's aware of the fact. Leo Fender, created Fender guitars, couldn't play guitar. Kahn's bass player, Fieldy. There are a few videos of him teaching how to play his bass lines, and you can tell he is no pro. The top comment is Fieldy knows what he is doing. He just doesn't know what it is that he is doing. All the girls holding their instruments behind Robert Palmer. Morrissey. You should hear him play piano. Michael Jackson couldn't play any instruments, but would sing the entire line for each instrument so that the musician could learn and play it. Squizgar Squigelf. He just plays along to backing tracks recorded by some nobody named Brendan Small. I don't know much about music. In this business, you don't have to. Elvis Presley. Edit to all of you responding with clever comebacks about how Elvis wasn't that bad as musician. You're arguing with a verbatim quote from Elvis Presley himself, not me. Take it up with Elvis. The Muppets. They're nothing without their backing tracks. According to legend, which is always more true than boring facts, Larry Mullen of U2 was persuaded, not long after U2 began to make an impression on the rock scene, to take drum lessons from John Wadham, Ireland's premier jazz drummer. Afterwards, Johnny reported to his jazz buddies that man does not enough for them to masturbate. The lead guitarist in the Cars for Kids commercial, Andy Fletcher from Depeche Mode R.I.P., he died earlier this year. Literally couldn't play anything at all and did pretty much nothing on stage other than clap his hands and sometimes pretend to play something on his keyboard. He also didn't contribute in the studio with anything other than opinions on the music that was being made. He described himself as the best one-fingered keyboard player in the world. Kind of fascinating how he was able to have a 42-year-long career in a huge band. Edit: I am aware that Fletch played a big role in the band, even if it wasn't a musical one. As a big DM fan, look at my username. I was very sad when he passed. Few of your favorite musicians are virtuosos, but almost all of them are pretty damn good at their instrument. You can't do it for so long and not be. You can find tons of guys at Guitar Center sweep picking and finger tapping like crazy that aren't playing any gigs and then go see a national touring act with someone that can't play half what those guys can, but he knows his role and is willing to go on the road and put in the work. Sid Vicious, or like Freddie Mercury called him once, Sid Ferocious Lowell. Milvanilli. Let's just say Katy Perry does not play the recorder. Bez, no one knows what he is doing up there, even Bez. Deadmau5 can't play piano but damn. Andrew Ridgeley, guitarist for Wham. Pete Wentz of Fall Out Boy is one of the most boring bass players I've ever heard. You could literally pick someone out of the crowd at one of their shows, give them a quick lesson and they'd be able to get the job done as well as he does. MGK. Like, dude, if you can't play the solo to your song on guitar, then don't play it in front of thousands of people. DJ Khaled is not the best guitar player. The drummer from Blue Oyster Cult is not particularly good at playing the cowbell. Nick Jonas had a pretty legendary guitar solo at the CMAs. Courtney Love. There's a video on YouTube of Hole playing with just her guitars isolated. It's hilariously bad. I'm famous in my apartment building. Can't play bass for shit. But boy do I have a lot of fun and I am learning and getting better, so there that. Courtney Love. Jimi Hendrix can't play guitar because he's dead. Pete Wentz is hilarious on bass. Ian Brown couldn't find a key in a locksmith. An inverse case, but Flavor Flav, the guy known for wearing horn helmets and clock necklaces, and yelling "yeah boy" at every chance, is actually a musical genius. To the point one of Public Enemy's producers told the band to drop the guy, and everyone refused on the basis of him being the only member able to play an instrument. Here he is playing the bass. Here he is playing the piano. Here he is playing the drums. Watch. V2CR5HS2PMQ. Did Elvis Presley know more than 4 chords?
I hope you all are doing well, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed this video. If you have something to say critically or otherwise, leave a comment. And if you enjoy this content, don't forget to subscribe to see more of it. I hope you all have wonderful and fulfilled lives.